back. I didn't have my mic out. There we go. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Boy Soto here, back with another one. Well, I don't know how to feel right now because honestly, if we're taking a look at this objectively, this is probably the best outcome for all involved, right? If you're on the side of let's lose out and let's get the highest draft pick we can, we lost. Okay. If you're on the side of let's be competitive, let's go out there and push and try to win games, and you always go out there to put your best performance out there. That they played hard. The offense looked better. It came down to a couple of possessions, and ultimately, I think everyone involved got what they wanted out of this game. Now, they didn't get everything they wanted, but overall, I think we did see some improvement in the offense. I think Minshew is who he is, so the offense is capped at how good it can be. I don't think it'll be drastically different with Aidan O'Connell or with Ritter. So I think this is what we're going to see. I think that the offense looked a lot more creative. They made a more of a concerted effort to get Brock Bowers the ball, and Brock Bowers a goddamn superstar. Okay, I don't know if you guys have known that. This dude, he's that guy. All right. So to cap it off, or to sum it up, the bad guys lose, unfortunately, 34-19. Just not a lot of possessions, man. Just not a lot of possessions. I know that it seems like we didn't score a lot, but break it down. Look at it from this perspective, okay? Third down efficiency, we were 8 for 14, and in fourth down, we were 2 for 2. So theoretically, we were 10 for 14 because the two that we didn't get in third down, we got on fourth down. So 10 out of the 14. The Dolphins were 8 of 12 and 2 and 2 on fourth down. Those two extra possessions were a punt and a turnover. Those two possessions were the difference in the game. And we missed we didn't get the 2-point conversion earlier, would have made it 20. So it's two score game. Those are the two scores. Those two possessions that ended was that. So, all right, guys. We were up against it a little bit coming into the game without Nate Hobbs. Like the second play of the game, Bennett goes out. You have Holmes playing a lot of snaps. You have Richardson playing a lot of snaps. That's just not okay. You have those two playing a part in, along with Diablo, playing a part in the end of the game as far as, for all intents and purposes, the just awful PI on Holmes on the third down stop. We would have gotten the ball with like 3 and change left, only down 1 score. Then you have the blown coverage, Jonnu Smith, which was, I believe that was an issue with communication between Richardson and Diablo. Diablo rushed instead of communicating with Richardson, who was going to take the backer and who was going to take the back and who was going to take the tight end. Richardson took to cover the tight end, and Jonnu Smith went free. So I believe that was a miscommunication with those two guys there. So you got a lot of new guys playing on defense in the secondary, and I told you guys before, and it's not like an I told you so thing, but I've mentioned this before. Patrick Graham asks a lot of his secondary, and you just got a lot of guys playing because of injury, and it's not an excuse; it's just a fact. And I think the team played really well today. The end score, it was It was 27-19. That last touchdown was just kind of like a window dressing thing. It was a kind of a fluke thing. But what we knew of this team is still the same thing. We need more talent and depth. Offensively, we need to, bolster the offensive line a little bit. I think Glaze got exposed a little bit on a few plays. Meredith as well. We need some upgrade. Maybe not so much Glaze. He's just getting, getting more experience. But Meredith he played well, but I mean, he had a couple of plays that were really hurting. And we need a better quarterback. We need better play at quarterback. I honestly think that the Turner and Turner, the law offices of Turner and Turner are doing they did a pretty nice job today. Offensively, it's just the quarterback couldn't get the plays, that kind of off pass. It was a little off target to Mayer on the 3-yard line. A target that pass was on target. He's in the end zone. He rumbles into the end zone. And little plays here and there. We had some miscues in the secondary as far as penalties go, and it's a big difference, man. We had 7 penalties. It's only 49 yards, but it wasn't the yardage that was the issue. The issue was when they happened. There were third down penalties, penalties on first down. Whoa, sorry about that. Penalties on first down when we had the ball to put us really back behind the numbers. It's tough, man. It's a tough game, but looking at the positives, the offense looked a lot more creative and it ran a lot smoother. We didn't see a lot of bonehead plays. I think Antonio Pierce made some better game decisions as far as using his timeouts and things like that. And also, the team played hard. Nobody's quitting out there. Let's see here. I just jumped right into it, right? I jumped right into it, and I didn't say, all right, let me get some little house cleaning out of the way. Everyone, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Share this on your social medias. You don't have to tell anyone. If you don't like walking up to people and telling them about the Windbags, that's fine. Just share it on your social media. Hey, Raider fans, check this out. Hashtag Raiders, hashtag Autumn Windbags. Just get it out there. Help us out. That is literally the least you can do. All right. So now that I give a summary, let's rewind and we'll talk about what happened today. Big story was the inability for the defense to get off the field. That was not the biggest story, but it was a big story. It's very difficult as well as Chason and Snowden have flashed. Neither one of them are Malcolm Kuntz. Neither one of them have shown to be the player, the disruptive force, the consistent player that Malcolm Kuntz showed that he was the last half of last year. I think this defense looks a whole lot different with Malcolm Kuntz and a hell of a whole lot different with Malcolm Kuntz and Christian Wilkins. Ultimately, we got to play with who we got. But in context, this defense looks a lot different with, half of their starting defensive line actually playing in the games. Got a question here. 50 plus media? No, that is ridiculous. You don't let go of Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham is playing with a bunch of freaking Scotch tape and freaking cardboard. Chason was a guy that we got off the freaking scrap heap. Snowden is a guy that we got. He was on our practice squad. Anyone could have got him, and nobody took him. You got a bunch of guys. Darnay Holmes is playing big snaps. Dude was off the scrap heap. He was waived. We have a 6th-round rookie playing big minutes in the secondary. That's big, man. That's a lot, especially when you take a look at this defense and how this defense was supposed to run. This defense, the engine of this defense was the defensive line, getting pressure, tackles for loss, stuff like that. And, unfortunately, Maxx can't do it all. And, you don't have your running mates. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. I think we need to look a little bit a little bit more at the context of what's happening here. Patrick Graham is an excellent defensive coach. I think what's happening is he doesn't have the horses. He just doesn't have the players. He has better players, but I think this defense looks a whole lot different with Kuntz and Wilkins in the game, and especially if we had Bennett or Hobbs or both. If we had those complemented, I mean, this is a completely different game, I think. Jeremiah Rose, Raiders can't run the ball at all. Need to fix it. Well, yeah, I mentioned it already. We need the O-line is a big issue for us. Huge issue. What we're not able to cause any indecision in the secondary of the opposing defenses. We're not able to wear down defensive lines with our running attack to slow down their pass rush. I mean, look at Minshew. Minshew threw the ball 43 freaking times today. He had what I would tease RJ. He had a Derek Carr game. Couple touchdowns, threw a pick in an important moment, had a ton of yards, but ultimately he didn't really play that well. The stats look good. I think for the whole season, if he would have played like this, he'd have 34 touchdowns and 17 picks. I think we would take that. 280 yards in a game times 17. That's about 4,000 yards. A little bit more, maybe. High completion percentage. 3 out of 4, 70, almost 75%. Yeah. This is a total, stat monkey game. But if you actually watch the game, you know that it wasn't that good of a game. And let's see here. If we take a look at the box score, what I take a look at a lot is 6.6 yard average. That's just not going to cut it, man. It's not going to cut it in today's NFL, especially when you're not running the ball. If you're running the ball, then you can get away with, having a 6.6 average. But, you run the ball for 60 yards in the entire game. That's tough, man. And 20 of those yards was on one Jacoby Myers reverse. Other than that, it's 15 rushes for 40 yards. Zamir White, 5 rushes, 9 yards. The fuck happened to Zamir White? I think we did a decent job on A-Chain. 17 carries, 73 yards, only 4.3 average. This dude's a freaking human highlight reel. All right, let's take a look at some more stats down the way here. Brock Bowers, 13 catches for 126 yards and a touchdown, along with 23, 16 targets. That's what you want. Ultimately, who is our other dude on the team? The next closest guy to be like a guy is Jacoby Myers, and he had 4 catches. But Brock Bowers is the dude on the offense. And what do you do when you have a dude on the offense is you give him the ball. And I think, I think Turner and Son, I think they know that. And they schemed it to get him the ball. And he's good enough to, Brock Bowers is good enough for the entire stadium to know that the Raiders are going to go to him and still be open and make the play. So yeah, Brock Bowers is a freaking stud. I think he's the kind of guy that you don't let go no matter what. Excellent player. One of the best, if not the best, tight end in the league right now as a rookie. And it's hard to argue against it. yeah, you got this guy and this guy and that guy and these guys all over the league. They're really good tight ends too, but they don't have Gardner Minshew throwing to him, right? Imagine if we had someone who actually knew what the fuck they were doing. Let's see here. Jeremiah Rose. Other than tight end, we need a whole new. No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think we have the issue with our offense, guys, is um, we need help at premium positions. We need help at positions that handle the ball a lot. We need a new number one running back, and we need a new number one quarterback. Those guys handle the ball more than anyone else. So it makes everything else look worse when the guys the two positions that touch the ball the most are ones that need to be replaced. And offensive line, I think if we get one or two pieces, we get another maybe interior lineman, maybe draft another tackle to see if then they can compete. We go from there. I think JPJ in the middle. I think Dylan Parham is good. We'll see what's going on with Miller, how he comes back after this season from his injury-plagued season this year. We'll see what happens there. But ultimately, what we don't want to do is sweeping changes. Because are we a bad team? Yes. But then you have to take a look at the context. Why are we a bad team? Did we quit on our freaking coach? No. Are the guys loafing around and not playing hard? No. We have a team that was put together starting wise. I think it was a competitive team. I think a lot of things need to go our way, which, if you take a look around the league, a lot of the things have gone the way that would have gone our way had we stayed healthy. Unfortunately, we're also a team that's not very deep. And because of that, it caused us to be where we are now. You lose your best player on offense, probably your second best and third best players on your defense around there. That's going to hurt, man. That's going to hurt a lot. So I would let's just take a step back on that. Just because the team sucks doesn't mean everything sucks, right? That's one of the things that I warned RJ against. Even during a bad season, there's positives. Okay. It's very difficult in the middle of a season to kind of revamp an offensive line. Should more have been done? Possibly, and that's at Telesco's feet. Should he have pushed a little bit harder to get maybe a veteran presence, another veteran presence who's not Andres Pete, who's not Cody Whitehair, who are fucking awful, who are playing terrible? Possibly, but they tried. They just made the wrong choice. And you take a look at the other side with the secondary. We were all, I mean, I think everybody was screaming for us to, why don't we sign this guy? Why don't we sign Xavier Howard? Why don't we sign Gilmore? Why don't we sign, this person or Dory Jackson, whatever? Why don't we sign these guys? And Bennett turns out to be our best DB because they know what they saw in him and they went with him and he turned out to be the best guy. Ultimately, it's the injuries and the fact that we didn't have a lot of depth to begin with. Take a look from the perspective of, this is Telesco's first season, and it's not going to be an overnight thing. We didn't get this bad overnight. We're not going to get back to where we want to be overnight. It is a lot easier when you have a quarterback, though, and the top two positions that handle the ball. It's a lot easier as far as that goes. Oh, man. Thanks for pointing that out. I thought I changed that. Smart ass. There we go. Since you guys are such sticklers for details. Let me look at your guys' fingernails. Let me look at your guys' fucking bathtubs and freaking toilets and see how detailed and meticulous you guys are. Let's see here. AP must go. This is total disaster. Yeah, man. He's not winning games, but again, you don't want to get rid of a coach that your team responds to if you don't by ignoring context. I think he did a much better job of handling the game today. I think he even did a much better job of game management, time management today. I think Norv Turner counseling and helping Scott Turner. I think he could be our offensive coordinator of the future. I think we can just stick with him and move forward. I think PG is going to get a lot more looks. I know that some of you guys don't like him, but guys, let's start in the back end. Epps not playing. Bennett played one play. Hobbs didn't play. Okay. Kuntz out. Wilkins out. So almost half of your starting defense didn't play today. Okay. And on top of that, it wasn't like this team had a lot of depth anyway. A lot of young players are coming in, and that's how those young players become depth pieces, is they have to be forced to play sometimes. And if you want it to happen, you want it to happen all at once. If you want players to get hurt, if you want young guys to get experience, if you want, to trade away star players on offense and, see what you have with young guys, you want it to all happen at the same time. You don't want to happen in consecutive seasons where it just becomes harder to win for multiple years. Just get it all out of the way now. And then, next season, we'll have our actual starters come back. We'll have younger players who have a lot more experience that can offer a lot more in their roles. And hopefully we upgrade at a quarterback and running back and a couple of offensive line positions. I remember Josh Jacobs running no problem with a shit O-line. Well, the O-line that we had in the past wasn't shit. It was a middle of the pack line. And if I recall, I think Josh Jacobs had a pretty bad year last year with the offensive line that was, let's see here, last season, 3.5 yards a carry. Yeah, that's the worst of his career. So you think that's pretty good? I don't know. Don't come at me with nonsense. I love the passion. I love the passion, but don't come at me with nonsense. Come at me with facts. Because we're talking about a bell cow back running for 800 yards for an entire season, 3.5 yards a carry. That's fucking doo-doo. Okay. Yeah, he's doing much better now, but he's on a different team. So do we need an upgrade at the offensive line? Of course we do. It's not just the running back. The offensive line needs to play better as well. We need to have a scheme, and it's offensive line is one of those things where the sum is greater than the individual parts. And that's why having that continuity and having, it's our 6th different offensive line that we've started in our 10th game or whatever it is. Yeah, in our 10th game. We started 6 different offensive line combinations in 10 games, man. That's not a recipe for success. Let's see here. Wes Williams. Wes Williams been doing some push-ups, man. Look at this dude. I just need 3 wins to finish the season. Saints, Chiefs, and Chargers. I mean, if it's the difference between thanks, Wes, appreciate it. If it's the difference between us getting like the second or third pick or getting like the sixth pick, I would just say I would rather have a a a result like today. Hard fought game, went out there, a couple of miscues here and there, but ultimately we lost. But there's building blocks for the future. Do that, right? And we don't have to ultimately look. I'm going to say, like, if the Jaguars are like 1 or 2, we got to trade with the Jags because they're not taking a quarterback. They just pay their freaking quarterback. And say what you want about Trevor Lawrence and if they should have paid him, if they shouldn't have paid him, they did. So they're not drafting his replacement right now. So as long as the Jags keep losing, I think that's good for us too, because that's the team we want to target. Get up there, trade with those guys. What's it going to take? I say you do what it takes to get up there. If that's your dude. But ultimately, the only way that you can ensure that you get the guy that you want is if you're picking number one. Does that mean we have to lose out? Not necessarily. We can trade up there. Teams have done it before. But I mean, I think it might be. It's not too early to talk about the draft. The freaking season's over. I know that somebody out there might say it's too early to talk about the draft. I'm not talking about the draft before Thanksgiving. Slow down. Okay. Slow down. All right. So, I'm just going to come out and say it because I am. I'll listen to him every single day on the radio. I'll watch his YouTube. I am a JT the Brick fan. I am. And I will tell him that to his face. But what I will also tell him to his face is don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite when the dollars are in your face. All right? Because he's the guy, and many of you guys listen to him too. And he's talked, I've seen a lot of you guys on his message boards. He's talked shit on you guys and called you guys immature and dumbasses and all kinds of stuff when he's not on the air. Phony Raider fans for wanting to talk about the draft right now. For wanting to talk about firing Luke Getsy, firing AP. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't talk about coaches getting fired. What happened the second the Dodgers shoved a dry fist up the Yankees' ass? Do you guys remember? Fire Aaron Boone. We need to fire Aaron Boone. Oh, so when it's your team and you're pissed off at the head coach and the Yankees aren't paying you any money, it's okay to say to fire the guy. Okay? Look, I'm still a JT the Brick fan, and I don't give a fuck. I will tell him this to his face. I'm not going to try to challenge him to a fight because I don't beat up old men. I'm an old guy myself, but I don't beat up older men. I will say that right now because he always says, you won't say it to my face. Yeah, I'll say it to your face because I don't have a problem saying things to people's faces. So if you want to say what you want to say here, but come with some facts. Give me the why. Don't give me the what's. Give me the what, of course, but give me the why too. Give me the what and the why. That'd be great. Then we can have a conversation, man. Raiders fucking suck. Okay, well, what would you do? Fire AP. Okay, well, what leads you to that decision? Well, the record's 2-8. Yeah, but take a look at these things, right? Tank for Shador. Well, I think right now, from what I'm looking at, he's probably the number one quarterback prospect for what I see and how it translates into the NFL. Cam Ward is freaking dynamic. Cam Ward is also throwing to a lot of wide open receivers. Let's just be honest, okay? Arnie Garza. I went to a school with a guy named Arnie. His name was Arnaldo. We called him Arnie. This dude can draw anything. He had like some autoimmune disorder or something like that. I don't know. He always wore a freaking like a sweater with a dress shirt underneath it. And I think it was like third grade. This dude can draw anything. I don't know if he was like autistic or something, but like this fool, super smart too. Arnie Garza. You remember thinking of that dude? I haven't thought of that guy in fucking 35, 40 years. In your opinion, who is our next win for real? I think we can win next week. I think we can beat the Broncos. I'm not super impressed with the Broncos. I think they're playing a specific way, and they're winning that way, which is fine. I mean, that's how you win games, right? But I think we match up really well athletically with them, defensively to their offense. I think that we got the air knocked out of us with that pick six. I think this offense is not going to allow us to stall, right? We scored 2 touchdowns in the second half. We scored in every single quarter. I mean, we really only had 1.25 possessions per quarter. I think we had like 6 possessions or something like that. Maybe 7, 6 or 7, very low number. But you know, I think there's some things like I definitely do think we can win next week. We're at home. Even Minshew throwing the ball away, and I'll have to take a look at the tape. I call into question if that interception was on Minshew or if Jacoby Myers turned the wrong way. I'm not sure. Ultimately, that's going to be a team thing, but it just looks bad. But yeah, who can be our next one? I think we can win next week for sure. Call into a show and call his ass out, dude. I'm working when I'm listening. I can't call in, but I would definitely, if I ever get the chance to speak to him, I will tell him because I'm not an asshole. Hey man, I really like what you do. I appreciate you being a part of the Raiders, a part of my Raider fandom for fucking 30 years or something like that. I gotta say one thing though, gotta be consistent. You can't call people out and call people names for wanting to fire a coach. And as soon as your Yankees lose, you want to fire the coach. Just saying. McBud, my G. Well, my autumn Windbags t-shirt wasn't a lucky charm today. Damn it. Let's be honest, it rarely is. I feel like an RJ and my ugly mug on the freaking t-shirt. Who wants that? The Broncos D is legit. It is legit. It is legit. It's a very good defense. I still think we can win. I still think we were capable of winning. We were moving the ball on them like no problem to start the game last time. I think we can win that game. You know what? Let's take a peek, shall we? Because I mean, this game, there's not much to talk about because there wasn't a lot of, we went over the issues, the defensive issues on third down. Couldn't get off the field. Ultimately, they just had better players than us that made plays. We were in position, but we had guys that were, just not experienced / good enough to stop a Tyreek Hill, who's one of the best in the league, to stop Jalen Waddle, who's a very, very good receiver. And Mike McDaniel, he's an excellent play caller. He's an excellent designer of plays. We just needed that one play. On goddamn, I just saw the final score: Detroit and Jacksonville, 52-6. See that, guys? Jacksonville, we're not that, and they have a quarterback. Their quarterback. So there are a lot worse teams out there than us. Let's be honest. Ty Davis, my dude. Bro, after today, now I don't want to win. What do you think about that, Apollo? Huh? Well, Razor, what do you think about that, buddy? Arnie Garza, too many penalties keeping drives alive. Defense played poor as well as our offense. I don't think the defense played poor. What I think was we were just undermanned. You, my dad, I'm gonna tell story time. Story time. My dad owned a mechanic shop, like a tire mechanic shop, when I was younger. Learned about cars, learned how to change oil, change tires, do a quick little maintenance on things, tune up stuff like that. I was a little kid, like 10. There was a guy that worked for us. Dude was just an idiot. And my dad was always yelling at the guy. The guy tried, but he was limited. One of the other guys, the older mechanic, walks up, and my dad's name was Jesse. R.I.P. Jesse. He's like, Jesse, why you ask for more than God gave him? And it's true. You can only ask for what you have, the best you can do. Ultimately, the players that we had to play today, the Darnay Holmes, the Kamarion Richardsons, instead of the Hobbs and the Bennetts, the Chasons and the Snowdens instead of the Malcolm Kuntzes, Jenkins almost every single play instead of having Wilkins out there. They did their best. I think they did they tried hard. Now, ultimately, there was some mental mistakes, so it wasn't like they did their best because there was a lot of mental mistakes. Jack Jones not staying on top of Tyreek Hill. I think he was trailing too much. When you have a guy like Tyreek Hill in motion, you have to get ahead of him. If he comes back the other way, then fine. Let him go back the other way into all of your help. But you got to stay ahead of him, because if you let him get ahead of you on motion, he's just going to kind of run away from you from there. And that's what he did a couple times. You got to go. Jack Jones got to go underneath that pick play, which means you got to be on top of the motion, which he wasn't. So, yeah, man. Yeah. There's a couple things we could have done a lot better. These are just, coaching things to clean up. And, yeah. Brown Star Lots. The loss of Malcolm Kunch really killed this defense. It really hampered. I wouldn't say it killed it, but it severely wounded it, because that was the two bookend guys to get constant pressure. That was the plan all along. In our last practice, a walkthrough before the first game. Can you believe it? Jalen Harris. Do you think AP stays in? Fine either way. If we get Ben Johnson, cool. If we keep AP, great for consistency and not constantly getting new regimes over and over again. I took a drink to buy myself some time. I think if we, regardless of the result, I think if we play the way we played today, and I think that the score is a little bit misleading because of that late touchdown and our late interception. But up until the end of the game, it was a tight game. And then the last part of the game kind of flew up. If we have that type of showing, then I think that AP will stay for next season, because I do think he, and you guys can go back to the previous episodes. I was killing AP. I think he did do a much better job today of managing the game. And I think that the whole the Turner and Son combo on offense can be a real big positive. And I think that if Norv is there to counsel Scott, I think it'll be kind of more of a seamless handoff, to where he's needed Norv less and less. And I think Scott Turner can be, from what he showed today, I think he'd be a very good offensive coordinator. I think that we need to have, like I said, an upgrade on 3 really big positions: offensive line, quarterback, and running back. If we can have a slight improvement in the offensive line, more consistency, maybe a little bit better health, and just get a more dynamic running back, a dynamic quarterback, I think we can do A lot better things. Arnie Garza, what is our offensive identity? We don't have one. We don't have one. Our offensive identity is get the ball to Brock Bowers, which honestly it should be. We should build our offense around getting the ball to Brock Bowers. Excuse me. Does anyone disagree with that? I think we all agree. That's like in the old Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? Remember that? When he played on the basketball team? Well, what's the play? Get it to Will. That's the play. Our identity is get it to Brock Bowers. I know what AP wants it to be, and I know what he was pushing for it to be. Unfortunately, we're not that. We're not that smash mouth, punch you in the face, line up, tell you what we're doing, and still beat you. We're not that. We're not that talented on the offensive line. We're not that talented at running back, and we're not that talented in the passing game to be able to make defenses play us honest. It's just not the way it is. My dudes. Keith Pardini, thank you for being a subscriber. Subscriptions are open, guys. You get the shows right away. Get some discounts on merch. You know, get to be sexy. Keith Pardini, we need to stop the Ben Johnson talk. He will not come to the Raiders when he will have his choice of several teams. I don't want to say he won't come here because let's say, for example, we end up having the first or second pick in the draft. Let's just say, okay, we have the first or second pick in the draft. All right. And he's like, dude, I'm good with Shador or with Cam Ward. Either one. I can work with either guy. Okay, cool. Maybe he wants to work with one of those guys. All right. Then there is a possibility. I will say this, the current state of the team, he doesn't want to go to this team. He won't. I wouldn't. I would bet against. I mean, he could have gotten one of 3 jobs last season. And he didn't because he wanted the right job. And he didn't think any of those were the right job. Hang on, my chick just called me. And when your chick calls and you freaking decline the call. She might be wanting to bring me some food or something. All right. Okay. Johnny Gons, my boy. Big win for USC yesterday, right? Big win. Mayava was he's a roller coaster ride, but got the job done. What up, Soto? Goals are clear. Send Bowers to Pro Bowl, secure draft order, and consider all alternate coaching options to develop the new quarterback. Thank you for the super chat, man. Much appreciated. Look, man. I don't have a problem. I think we're okay with a Turner offense. I think we're good with that. I think Norv Turner has shown he has a track record of being a really good offensive coordinator, a really good offensive coach. And Scott Turner called plays in Washington with just an abortion of freaking quarterbacks that they had playing there. And then he called plays in Carolina with another abortion of quarterbacks they had playing over there. So if those offenses weren't that good, I wouldn't really put that at Scott Turner's feet. I think he didn't have a lot going on there. It's very similar to what he has going on right now. I think he's a lot better than what he's shown. I wasn't huge on Scott Turner until I started looking into his past and who was on those teams that he was being the offensive coordinator for. And I was like, ugh. Those guys ain't done shit else with anyone else. So, yeah, man, I think we could have the guys in place that we're looking for. But we do need some upgrades for sure. We need some more depth. Uh, well, guys. Oh, Jeremiah Rose. I got you in 2 weeks, bro. We got to take care of Boosie LA, and then we're going to go ahead and get those freaking cheating ass freaking Catholics done. All right, guys. That's my time for today, man. There's not much else to talk about, really. Um, let's see. Draft Sanders, Schumer, OC, draft Johnson, running back from Iowa, free. I do like Johnson from Iowa. I think he's very good. I think he probably would be like maybe a third round pick, maybe fourth round pick. Free agent T. Higgins, resign Hobbs, Merrick, Kuntz, Spillane. What do you think? I think that's what you need to do. I think you need to resign your guys, and I think I like T. Higgins. Mentally, I don't know. I think he's a bigger diva than Davante. Honestly, if you want to, but what do I know? I don't know him personally, but I like Schumer as OC. I think don't overlook Turner just yet. I think Turner can be okay. I do like Johnson from Iowa though. He's a big, quick back. He reminds me a lot of that kid Williams from the Rams. I think he's a very good back. I think there's a few good backs that we can get. There's that dude out of North Carolina. I think Ohio State has a couple of them that are pretty damn good. But yeah, of course Boise State, but the kid from Iowa is a good player. He's a good player. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And any ladies out there, if you're out there, thanks, guys. Much appreciated. Remember, everyone, please do me a big solid, man. Smash on that freaking like button. Comment. Come back and watch the show again. Comment on the show. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Memberships are open if you want to freaking sign up for a membership as low as $3 a month. Come on, dude. You freaking give $3 to the fucking bum sitting out in the corner scratching his ass. And share. Hit that share button. Share it to your social medias. Hashtag it Raiders and hashtag it Autumn Windbags. It'll really help us out a lot, man. All right, guys. Much appreciated, y'all. Until next time, everybody. Peace.